Feel free to be whoever you want to be. Feel free to dance, feel free to sing, just feel free. Feels like the world is picking on ya. Feels like it's picking on me. But trying to please everybody, that ain't no way.
Okay, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Two Tone Talk podcast, episode 26, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, anywhere you get your podcast, and on YouTube. Please go subscribe to the Two Tone Talk YouTube channel and go follow me on Twitter at Two Tone Talk. It is the Two Tone Talk podcast, and it's a big week. The butterflies in the stomach are very real because it's draft week. We are 3 days away from the NFL Draft 2023, and like I said, if you are like me, you might have some butterflies in the stomach because nobody has any idea what the Tennessee Titans are going to do. It is like, I don't recall. You know what? This is the Two Tone Talk podcast. I need to swap hats. There we go. We need to have some sort of Titans clothing on. It is one of those situations where they could do anything. They could literally, all options are on the table, short of trading up to one. We knew one or two. That ship sailed a long time ago. But, you know, they could trade up to 3. They could trade up to some other place. They could stay at 11. They could trade back. There are talks today that the Titans might be trying to trade back and get more picks, which would make some sense because they've got so many holes to fill on this team that the more picks you can get, the better. But as far as what position, are they trying to find a quarterback? Are they just going to try to get a wide receiver? Are they going to try to get an offensive lineman? Are they going to try to, what's going on? It is a complete mystery. A new GM that none of us really know very well at all. We don't know we don't know. It is a complete mystery. And the rumor mill has been running wild for months about what the Titans could do, what they will do, what they should do, including here on this podcast. But I do want to talk about the rumors that have been swirling for the last couple of days about one Derrick Henry. And the rumors that came out a couple of days ago that Derrick Henry was going to be traded to, of all teams, the Philadelphia Eagles. And, yeah, I'm not sick of the Eagles, okay? I'm not sick of the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? Taking all our best players, but can't blame them. We're the idiots who give them away. But, the rumor came out because the dude from American Ninja Warrior, I mean, think about this. You want to talk about people who are just desperate for some NFL news. The American Ninja Warrior dude was like, well, Derrick Henry's going to the Eagles, and because he has like the same agent or something as Derrick Henry, everybody just went nuts with it. Oh my gosh, Derrick Henry is being traded to the Eagles. The people were acting like it was all but official. It's a done deal. And I don't want to, make too much of a joke about it because it's, anything, like I said earlier, anything's on the table. But this American Ninja Warrior dude tweets this out and everybody just goes crazy about it, thinking it's a done deal. And then later on that night, some NFL sources came out and said, hey, the Titans and the Eagles have not had any trade talks about Derrick Henry. I don't know what you guys are thinking. And AJ Brown tweeted because that's what he does. He's like, hey, we don't have a number 22 on our team. Go get him. It's like, man, can you just go away, please? Just go away. So it's like an ex that just comes back around to taunt you every now and then. It's like, just leave us alone. We just leave us alone. Anyway, but it has brought up the Derrick Henry trade, whether it's the Eagles or somebody else. Titans fans been debating the last couple of days. Should we be listening to trade offers for Derrick Henry? And I mean, yeah, you should. Now, you don't just want to trade the guy for like a 5th rounder or nothing stupid like that, but yeah, you should listen to offers, because if somebody's going to offer you something unbelievable, I mean, here's the thing. I fully understand, Derrick Henry, he's one of my favorite Titans ever. So don't think that I'm just on this bandwagon of, hey, let's get rid of him. But, I mean, he's 30, which is not old, but it's for a running back, 30 is usually when you start getting to the point where, all right, start to kind of get a little tread on the tires, especially somebody like Derrick Henry, who's been carrying this team on his back for the last 5 or 6 years. Okay, I'll be carrying the ball 30-something times a game. It's like, okay, you really want to talk about tread on the tires. Like, there you go. And he's a special athlete, obviously. If anybody can continue to keep doing this year after year, it would be somebody like him, right? But he's going to be a free agent next year. After this season, he's going to be a free agent, and once he's a free agent, you're not going to get anything for him. If he goes somewhere else, you're not going to get anything for him. And, so I think it's worth listening to trade offers right now. If somebody's going to offer you something that you just can't refuse, I don't want. It would absolutely crush me to see Derrick Henry go out there on a Sunday with somebody other than the Tennessee Titans. Of course, it would crush my spirit. It would crush my soul, unless we got something great in return for it. In which case, you swallow the pill and move on. Now, my thinking is they're not going to be able to get anything great in trade offers for him for every reason that I just said. The fact that he has been, he's got some tread on the tires. He's been carrying this offense and this team for 5 or 6 years. He's 30 years old. How long can he keep doing this? It would not be normal for him to just continue to do what he's been doing. So I don't think they're going to be able to get anything that they can't refuse for Derrick Henry. I mean, unless he just wants to be traded, which nobody's heard that. Unless the Titans are just looking to get rid of him, which absolutely nobody has heard that. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen, because I learned last year, never say never, because I was confident that A.J. Brown was staying with the Titans. I was confident when Mike Vrabel went on the Rich Eisen show and said, as long as I'm the head coach of this team, A.J. Brown will not be traded. I was confident. So I'm not confident. I will never be confident again in anything after last year's draft. But I just don't think anything that you could get in a trade offer for Derrick Henry, I just don't think that it would be equal value. I don't think that, if somebody's going to give you like a 3rd rounder for Derrick Henry, it's like, okay, is that 3rd rounder, what are the odds that 3rd rounder is going to come in and give you as good of production as Derrick Henry would this season? I ain't buying that. I mean, I know he's got some tread on the tires, whatever. He's been doing this for a while. I would still take Derrick Henry probably over whatever 3rd rounder you would be able to get for him. So even a 2nd rounder, right? I mean, so I don't envision that Derrick Henry will be traded. And maybe that's just wishful thinking because, like I said, it would crush my soul to have to see Derrick Henry go out there and play with somebody else, whether it be the Eagles or anybody else, right? But, the only way I would be fine with it is if you can get something in a trade that would make me as a fan say, okay, I get it. And I just don't know what that would be at this point in time. I don't know. At this point, unless you can get something, unless somebody's willing to give up something amazing in return for Derrick Henry, as far as I'm concerned, you go with him this year, and then if it ends up that he's looking slower, looking, like he's losing his touch, then you part ways with him after this season. You give him one more go, I guess. Because I just don't know what you're going to be able to get in a trade for the guy. You see this fool, this Eagles fan that was trying to say we should trade. He's like, I would like to see this trade. Because the Eagles pick at 10. One place above the Titans currently in the draft. He's like, I would like to see the Eagles give the Titans pick 10, and the Titans give the Eagles pick 11 and Derrick Henry. It's like, what do you think this is? We're going to give away Derrick Henry to move up one spot? Idiot. Are you out of your mind? So I don't know what, to me, nothing you could get in a trade would be worth giving up Derrick Henry at this point. Unless there's just something floating out there that is unbelievable. Unless some team, some organization is like, okay, we will give you our first round pick and our number one wide receiver for Derrick Henry. Then I would be like, oh, okay. Like, if Arizona, who's at pick 3, if they were like, hey, we'll trade with you. We'll give you pick 3 and DeAndre Hopkins if you would give us, something like that. I'm still very hesitant on DeAndre Hopkins because he just reminds me too much of these other Titans wide receivers that we've had that were supposed to be great that were just washed, But something like that, But other than that, I think you stick with Derrick Henry. I think Mike Vrabel just has an emotional attachment to Derrick Henry, which worries me because I have been very vocal on this podcast, and anybody that's been listening for any amount of time knows. Even if Derrick Henry is back with the Titans this season, even if he is in the backfield for Tennessee this fall, the identity of this team still needs to change. Even if he's here, I'm not saying he shouldn't get his carries. I'm not saying he shouldn't be a focal point, but we tried it last year, right? We tried it last season to center everything around him. We tried last season to make it all revolve around him, and what did that get us? I mean, it's not a knock on him, it's just, this is the NFL in 2022-23. If you want to take the next step, it is time to stop living and dying by Derrick Henry, and that stands the same even if he's still here this fall. You have got to stop acting like it's 1970. Even if he's here. Give him his carries. Sure. Give him his carries. Make him a focal point, but do not make him the focal point. Do not make it the Derrick Henry show. We've tried it for years. At one point, it had some success. It doesn't anymore. We cannot just get these, wide receivers who would be wide receiver 4 anywhere else to try to come in here and be wide receiver 1 or 2 because it's all right, we got Derrick Henry. It's all right, I've said it before. I'm sick of hearing analysts talk about the Titans and all they can say is, well, they've got that Derrick Henry. Like, yeah, but clearly, we need something else in addition to that. So, whether he's traded or not, this team needs an identity change. And we have got to stop saying, well, we're just going to run the ball 40 times a game and hope that that's enough. No, have another way to win, for God's sake. It's the NFL. It's tough. Week by week, you have to find different ways to win. The Titans come out every single week and are like, well, if Derrick Henry can't take us there, we're not going. Come on. How about get some other talent around him so that the guy doesn't have to carry the ball? Because you want to know what let's just use the Eagles as an example because they were the team that were brought up in that rumor. The Eagles would be a great fit for Derrick Henry. They would. Because they've got Jalen Hurts who can run, and obviously he just got paid unbelievable. He can run the ball. He's progressed unbelievably in his quarterback play. You got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you got all kinds of weapons so that Derrick Henry doesn't have to come out there and have a 2,000-yard season. He can just come in there, do his thing, stiff arm some dudes, compliment the other guys on the offense. At this point in his career, a place like the Eagles would probably be a great place for Derrick Henry to go. Unlike the Titans, where he's going to have to continue to run the ball 80 billion times a game. And I know he's a beast. Okay, I know he's a beast. I know he is a freak of nature. But even, I mean, it's the NFL. There are a lot of freak of natures. There's a lot of them. He's getting older. I'm not saying he's done. I'm not saying he can't do anything anymore. As a matter of fact, I think he can contribute a ton wherever he's at. But it's not even fair to this guy to keep being like, well, we're just going to run it all through you and we're not going to give you any help anywhere around you. Not to mention a place like Philadelphia, their offensive line is great. The Titans' offensive line is mediocre right now at best. At best, it's mediocre. So, I mean, I think Derrick Henry will be back in Nashville, and that probably sucks for him. I mean, I hate to be that way. I hate to be that way, but he would probably be better off somewhere else. But like I said, unless they can get something unbelievable in trade value for him this Thursday night or somewhere time after that, I just think he's back. Now, speaking of trades, there's been more talk about Ryan Tannehill. And all these reports that, I mean, you ever notice in the lead up to the draft, people are so desperate to have stuff that people that people will read and comment on. They just put out stuff that's blatantly like already true, that we already know, and act like it's breaking news. For example, yesterday there were like talks around the league that the other teams in the league believe that Ryan Tannehill is available to trade for. It's like, well, yeah. Why are you acting like that's breaking news? We've known that for months. We've known it since the season ended. Of course Ryan Tannehill's available for trade. What is wrong with you people? Breaking news. Ryan Tannehill is available for trade. It's like, yeah, sure he is. So, Tannehill, now, I'm going to try to choose my words wisely. It's a very different conversation for Ryan Tannehill than it is for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, I don't think there's anything that you're going to be able to get in a trade that would be worth trading him. But for Tannehill, I would just about be open to anything. If somebody's willing to take on his contract or even some of his contract and get him off of, you know, and I hate to sound unappreciative. I think some people venture over into disrespect when it comes to Ryan Tannehill. He's had a pretty good little run with the Titans, okay? Like, let's not act like it's just been horrible since he came in. But I do think it is time for the Titans to move on. I don't think anybody's going to feel inspired if the Titans come back with Ryan Tannehill this fall. So I do think it's time to move on, but I'm also appreciative, and I understand, like, he should, I mean, you know, he can be a starter somewhere. He can be a starter somewhere. I just think for where the Titans are right now, the time is now to begin the moving on process from Ryan Tannehill. So I think there is something in a trade offer that you could get probably for him to go somewhere. And I think it's time to do that, with all due respect to him. I said it last week. I think you've got a lot of Titans fans that are going to feel very like the air has been let out of them if they, after all this talk about new quarterbacks and moving on to a new era of Titans football, there's going to be a lot of Titans fans that are going to be very discouraged if you just come back with Ryan Tannehill again. Okay. So I'm looking for, again, after last year, I ain't confident in nothing after the A.J. Brown thing. But, I'm looking for that Ryan Tannehill trade. Like, if somebody's willing to do it, we need to do it. Now, the actual draft itself. What are the Titans going to do? If you're watching on YouTube, let me know in the comments. What do you think the Titans are going to do? I don't know. They're currently slated to pick at number 11. They could stay there, and they could, I hope if they stay at 11, they need to draft a wide receiver. If they stay at 11, they got to draft a wide receiver with that pick. Trading back, still an option. Trading back, get more picks. They got a lot of holes to fill on this team. If you trade back, you get more draft picks. You get to bring in more guys. That's fine. And then you have that option that's still there that they could trade up and take a quarterback. They could trade up there to number 3. The talks about Houston not taking a quarterback at number 2, those talks have just gotten more and more to the point where people are treating it as though it is a foregone conclusion that the Texans are going to take Will Anderson at number 2. I can't believe it. I can't believe it that they're not going to go quarterback. But it ended up Houston winning that game at the end of the season that took them from pick number 1 to pick number 2. That ended up being very stupid for them to do, because I think they wanted Bryce Young. I don't think they're interested in any quarterback in this draft other than Bryce Young. Now Carolina's going to get Bryce Young is kind of a stupid thing to do to win that game, But there's a very real possibility that C.J. Stroud is still going to be there at pick number 3. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. Some people have different opinions. I would be thrilled if the Titans traded up there and got C.J. Stroud. Okay? I hate to revisit this, but I said it last week. I'm not jumping out of my chair about Anthony Richardson. I'm not jumping out of my chair. I literally will be furious if we draft Will Levis. I don't want anything to do with Will Levis. But C.J. Stroud, if he's there and you can get up there to number 3 to get him, I'm fine with that. I really am. I'm fine with that. And at the end of the day, that's what I have to ask myself. And you too, Titans fans. What would have to happen Thursday in the draft for Tennessee that at the end of the night you would sit there and go, you know what? I'm pleased with this. I'm good with this. What would they have to do that would make you say, you know what? Good. I'm going to sleep good tonight knowing that a good thing happened here tonight for my team. What would they have to do? For me, if you trade up and draft C.J. Stroud, I'll sleep like a baby. If you stay at number 11 and you draft a wide receiver, I'll sleep like a baby. If you're able to trade back and get some really good additional draft picks in return, I'll sleep like a baby. The only way that I will be furious is if they draft Will Levis. And maybe if they draft Anthony Richardson. I said last week, could be talked into Anthony Richardson, but I wouldn't be jumping out of my chair about it, and I cannot be talked into Will Levis. Trade up, draft Stroud, great. Stay at 11, draft a wide receiver, great. If they stay at 11 and draft an offensive lineman, I'm going to be bummed out of my mind. I mean, I'm not going to lie. They stay. I know we still need help on the offensive line, but I still feel like the offensive line, you could get a second rounder. You could get a second round offensive lineman with the way things are right now. I think after the season, it was a must that the Titans were going to have to go O-line and pick number 11. I don't think it is a must now. Now, I want you to know, I understand the Titans' offensive line room is still not good. It's still quite bad. But it is much more stable than the wide receiver room. It's still much more stable than the wide receiver room. So if you're staying at 11, you're drafting a wide receiver. I will say to Luke in the chat, who just got on and said, do you think Henry's getting traded? I've been talking about that, so you can go back and watch. But I'll sum it up by saying this. I said that, to me, the only way you trade Derrick Henry is if you can get something great in trade value in return. And I don't think they're going to be able to, because I think he's 30. He's got a lot of tread on the tires. I still think he's a beast, and he can contribute wherever he goes. But if all you can get is a third rounder for Derrick Henry, then to me, is that third rounder going to give you more production than Derrick Henry would? Probably not. So unless you can get something unbelievable in trade value, and for those Titans fans who don't think Derrick Henry can contribute anymore, all I ask you to look at all the teams who are pumped at the idea of their team trading for our guy Derrick Henry. He may have tread on the tires, he may be getting up there, whatever. At the end of the day, there are people out there, there are teams out there who are foaming at the mouth at the idea of getting Derrick Henry. So let's not act like this dude's just a bum now, okay? He was second in the league in rushing last year behind one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen. So let's just hold our horses on the idea that Derrick Henry we need to part ways. Easy now. Easy. This is an offense that ain't got a lot going for it right now. Anyway, and on that note, back to the draft, okay? If you stay at 11, I think drafting an offensive lineman is going to have me sitting on the couch going, ugh. That's what it's going to happen. It's going to be an audible groan. If the Titans stay at 11 and take an offensive lineman, I'm going to sit there and go, ugh. Do we need more offensive linemen? Yeah, sure. But, I think we need a wide receiver worse. And I want the dude from Ohio State if we draft a wide receiver. It's a talented wide receiver class. That's good news for Tennessee because we got to have it. We got to have it, okay? Trading back, it's a double-edged sword because, trading back, that means there are going to be a lot of talented guys that you're not going to get that you could get up there, but you get more picks. You need more picks. So, there are a lot of things that the Titans could do Thursday night that would be good. It would be good. Some of it would be great, in my opinion. There are only a few small, minuscule things they could do that would make me bang my head against the wall. One would be drafting Will Levis. One would be drafting a defensive player in the first few rounds. There is no need, Mike Vrabel, to draft a corner in the second round. Look at this offense right now. It sucks. It's one of the worst in the league. One of the worst offensive rosters in the league. So I don't want to see no drafting an edge rusher in the first round, drafting a corner in the second round, while our offense languishes in the desert. I want to see some picks made to help this offense. So the only things that could make me bang my head against the wall Thursday night would be drafting Will Levis, would be drafting any defensive player in the first few rounds, and to a little lesser extent would be drafting an offensive lineman at pick number 11. That would make me bang my head against the wall. It's draft time, everybody. What's going to happen? I'm excited about the draft because, as I said at the beginning of this episode, all possibilities are on the table. All possibilities. They're all there. Drafting up for a quarterback? Well, they could do it. Staying at 11 and drafting a wide receiver? They could do it. Trading back and getting more picks? They could do it. It's all there. It's all on the table. And it's all been rumored. Trading Derrick Henry? Maybe. Trade Ryan Tannehill? Maybe. Trade Kevin Byard? Hope not. Trade Jeffrey Simmons? That one's off the table now because he got paid. He got paid big. But it's exciting. Yeah, it is exciting. It is also absolutely terrifying. Puts a knot in my stomach, especially after last year. A little bit of PTSD after last year. That's it for episode 26. Thursday night, the NFL draft. What are they going to do? I'll be on Twitter talking about the whole thing, and I'll probably be on YouTube that night. I will be on YouTube later that night talking about whatever it is they do. Thank you guys for joining me. Go subscribe to the Two Tone Talk podcast on YouTube. Go follow me on Twitter. Don't miss a bit of the action. And have a good week. The draft is approaching. Can't wait. You guys are the best. Thank you for listening. Bye, everybody.
Take your worries, stomp them in the ground. Just let loose of what's got you down. Take your worries, stomp them in the ground. Said to stomp them in the ground. You need to stomp them in the ground. They always got something to say now.